get her in landscape mode. YouTube has changed so much since I've been in my heyday. Well, I guess we'll go in, I guess they call this portrait mode here for today. And any of you that's got her figured out, please feel free to reach out and let me know the new digs for YouTube. If not, I guess I suppose I can do some Googling. Anyways, how's she going, folks? For those of you watching the rerun and those of you tuning in live, we decided to come on live hopefully weekly, maybe a couple times a week, and we're gonna have church here online. I mean, we're gonna gather together. We're gonna have some fellowship, and we're gonna do what we're called to do and talk about all the good things that we have in store for us here. So if you're tuning in live, feel free to jump into chat, say hi. Now that's another thing too. There's so much different now. I don't even know if I'll be able to see any chats. And it's been so long since I've done much of this here. But at any rate, happy Sunday. Now that being said, I don't know that we'll be doing this exclusively on Sundays or anything like that. That's kind of a man-made doctrine kind of deal. People do their worship on Sundays and all that, and I can't express enough that church is not a time or a place. It's not for Sundays. It's for every day. So if it ends in Y, that's a day for it. But at any rate, that's not really what I want to talk about on our first go today. We'll get into that. There's much what we'll have to sink our teeth into and tear into quite a bit. But I know that this here channel hasn't been much of a channel for such a topic. Maybe it's been dropped in here or there, or maybe alluded to, but it's been mostly an outdoors channel, and it still will be. We're going to continue doing those kind of videos, but I think it's important, especially now with times such as this, when the world's getting so crooked and wicked, that we need to be talking about the truth and getting people on the straight and narrow. And I know that's probably going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. They may or may not want to hear it, and probably going to lose a subscriber or two because of it. I'm fully aware of that. I thought about it, and to be honest with you, it's worth the risk. I don't think subscriber count is much as a survivor count. As those who may be on that path that leads to no good might need to hear some of this and get on the path that is to good, so they don't have to go to an eternity of suffering. Because that's where that all leads. And again, I don't know if there's anybody chatting. I'm sorry if I can't see. I don't know what YouTube's honestly done with all this stuff going on here. I don't know. What's this button do? Nope, not that one. So I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with the configurations of YouTube. So I guess this is kind of a getting our feet wet and testing the waters, getting it out there, and sharing it with you guys. And hey, hi, how you doing? Long time no see for some of you, and good to see you. I'm sure I'll catch up on the comments afterwards. But as for right now, I don't know that I can see anybody. So sorry about that. But at any rate, yeah, the whole purpose of this is, I know some of you may or may not want to hear it, but the world's kind of leading you towards a way that's no good. Seems right, but it's honestly no good. You might be into something rather that deep down you don't know or deep down you do know isn't so good. And it feels right, but deep down you know. And the truth be told is you're being pulled. And we can get into that later. But right now, I just want to let you know that you don't have to go down that road. You don't have to be doing these things that are no good. You don't have to do anything anything at all that you feel is wrong. And sure, you may have done some things that are wrong. You may have done some things that you might think are unforgivable. I'm here to tell you that that's all the wayside if you want her to be. You know, that's all down the stream, all washed away. It's been paid for. It's a free gift. Because honestly, none of us deserve the forgiveness that we've been given. And truth be told, I fall in that category too. We've all fallen short, me included. And if I was to get what I deserve, well, I'd be heading to the pit of fire. But we're not getting what we deserve when we just see the truth. We follow the Lord. And Jesus is Lord. Most of us call him Jesus, but that's truly not really from what theologically and historically we know his name to be. It's actually Yeshua, and some debate that even, so we don't really know 100% for sure, but Yeshua is the most agreed upon name. And you don't have to be a part of this whole fanatical way of life that the world's given us. You know, a lot of people throwing their lives away for alcohol, throwing their lives away for adultery, fornication, all these crazy things. And idolatry is a big thing too. And it's strange enough that you yourself can become your own idol. And here on YouTube, beware, because I mean, you watch enough YouTube channels and you can kind of see which ones have kind of become their own idol. And they want you to idolize them. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, I don't want you to idolize me. I don't want you to look towards me. I don't want you to... I'm just a vehicle right now to point you towards this. Get yourself into the Word itself. Don't take my word for it. Read it for yourself. Don't take anybody's word for it. Read it for yourself. You know, it's fine to have people to guide you and lead you, but make sure you're reading it for yourself, because I'm going to get things wrong. The next guy is going to get things wrong. There's holes in everybody's theology. Every single one of us have something wrong. Not a single one. And that's the problem. Too many people put their faith in a man or a woman, and you're doomed to fail. I don't care who it is. Even Billy Graham had flaws. He wasn't perfect. There's only one that's been perfect, and I'm not him. Here's Billy. Love Billy Graham, don't get me wrong. Love Billy Graham. But all the same, don't take any man or woman's word for it. Read it for yourself. The truth is in the Word. And if you have questions, read it. You'll find answers. As long as you're open. And as long as you've got the eyes to see and ears to hear. Because honestly, these things people tell you might sound nice. And they might steer you wrong. There's a lot of things that are kind of crazy in some doctrines. They might scare you away. And the way some people act might scare you away. But all the same, the truth is in here, not here. Some of this, hopefully most of it will be truth. Hopefully it'll lead you to it. But all the same, I'm not him. Your pastor's not him. The preacher on TV's not him. Just a vehicle pointing it to him, ideally, is what it should be. Might share some theology, that's fine. And personally, whenever I do, I make sure to let you know it's just theology. It's not the absolute truth, it's just theology. And too many people, too many doctrines, too many churches, it's so dug in on theology. and it causes division, causes church hurt, causes people to leave. That's wrong. And that's work of evil. Oh, I just got a Q&A sticker thing. I really wish I knew if I could see. If there's people on there, if you haven't commented already, shoot up a comment, just so I know for sure. If not, I'm sorry. I'll figure it out for next time. We're just getting our feet wet on this one, letting you all know what we're to, and getting the basic word out there, which is you've been redeemed should you choose it. And all you have to know is that you don't have to have lived a perfect life to receive that redemption. You don't have to have cleaned your room to come to redemption. You don't have to do anything other than accept it. Accept Yeshua. Accept the Lord. Start that relationship with Him. And that's another thing too. It's not a rule book. It's a relationship. I might have different conviction than you do. I might see things a little differently and feel convicted about doing certain things where you might not. You know, for me, I don't do tattoos. That's my conviction. Not to say that there's anything wrong if you want to do it. That's your personal relationship. Right? For some people, they don't do a lot of things. They won't even drink wine. I steer away from it myself. But to each their own. Right? Nothing wrong with drinking wine. But drunkenness is a sin. So stay away from that. That much I can point to. But if you want to have a glass of wine with dinner, that's your prerogative. The Healed Heart Space, hear you loud and clear. Okay, we got comments. Cool, I can see you. Very good. Thanks for going. Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. Well, this is it. And I'm just wanting to let everybody know we can come together as a community and have fellowship, loving on one another, lifting each other up, and making sure that we know that the truth is in the book, not in my mouth. Not in any preacher's mouth, not in any evangelist's mouth. The point of an evangelist is to bring you to the Word, right? The point of a teacher is to teach you what's in here. The point of a pastor is to keep you on that path. The point of a prophet is to prophesy what God's Word is, what has been given. And then the point of apostle is to be sent out to start in ministries and words and all that. And did I go through that? There's a fivefold ministry. I don't know if anybody caught on to what I got there, you know. The teacher, the apostle, the prophet, the evangelist, and the pastor. And too much we get focused in on the pastor. I'm going to say that right out. And we glorify that position for whatever reason. And it's a lot of man-made doctrine. Again, we'll get into that stuff another time. Not so much today. Today, just getting our feet wet, focusing on the basic message that redemption is there for you to take. And you don't have to get it from anywhere else. You can do it on your own space. You don't have to confess to me. You don't have to confess to some priest or preacher or pastor or anything. You don't need to go to a building. You don't need to go anywhere but where you're to right now. You can accept. No, but I've been accused of that before. I have another one of these hat with the crocodile teeth to her. But what I'm saying is you can accept all that, and it's a free gift by. And it's not something that you get from anywhere else other than you receiving it. Where you're to, where you're at, and just asking Yeshua into your life. That's as simple as that. As simple as that. And you start from there. Then if you're so inclined, start to reading. What's this live all about? Okay, well, if you're just tuning in, well, first of all, I'm still getting used to the way the lives have been set up. I've been AWOL for some time. I've uploaded a couple of videos here and there. So, sorry for being in the whatever mode that is. Normally we do the horizontal, but today we're this way because I can't figure out how to switch it. glad I can see comments. Didn't know that that was going to work or not, but lots changed since I've done all this. And just letting everybody know that we're going to be going live, and we're going to kind of have some fellowship, community, you know, a little bit of talk of the gospel here. Basically, what we should, I mean, and this is the funny thing, we'll get into this today, is what people know as church is like this all like, oh, so you got to go to a building, dress up funny, and yada yada yada, and that's no. And that's not what we're going to do here. You know, this is fellowship. This is the teaching of the apostles. This is gathering together, and not some worshiping a guy on a stage and whatnot. This crazy crap that goes on in the world. We're going to get more to like the first century thing, which is what I've been doing. I don't know if anybody's on here from any of that. They're fully aware that I'm doing this. Is been gathering in people's homes with groups, and doing it that way. But I've been so inclined now to use this platform to do such a thing, and I mean, like I said at the beginning, you know, some people might be rubbed the wrong way by her. It is what it is, and I'm not talking about religion. Religion I'm dead against. And what I'm talking about is relation. That's what I'm getting into, is like what goes on out there nowadays is very much so religion, and it's quirky. I'm not into that. You know, I don't subscribe to all the crazy crap that's going on, and all this religion. So I'm more in relation, and yeah, I mean, if you're just here for the fellowship, that's cool, and if you're able to take something home from that, from some of the conversation in between, that's fine. But I understand some people, you're not going to be into that. You might very well unsubscribe. Okay, and that's your prerogative if you want to. There will be more chainsaw stuff going on, and there's going to be outdoor videos as we do, but all the same, there's going to be some of this going on too, because it needs to be done, and it's just been put on my heart to do. So if you're one of the people that have to leave, sorry you feel that way. You know, no hard feelings, is what it is. I mean, you don't necessarily have to. You can stick around for the other videos if you want. If not, cool. Your prerogative. But all the same, we're going to keep on doing this. Yes, fellowship is a good word for me. It means community, and to me, people talking. That's right, Hildegard. That's right. You know, and it doesn't have to be like, a lot of what I see in religion is a lot of this throwing stones on glass houses, and I don't buy that. You know, because in here it tells you right now, why are you pointing out the speck in somebody else's eye when you got a log in your own? Pretty good scripture for a logger, right? Why you got a speck of sawdust in your eye when you got a whole piece of timber in yours? And it's fair enough, you know, like, we got our own stuff to sort out. I'm not here to judge. And truly, that's what the Bible says for us. If somebody's of the world or something like that, not for us to judge them. Within the community, okay, a little bit here and there, you know, if somebody's doing something to harm somebody or so on and so forth, a lot of the wickedness can be pointed out and exposed. But all the same, we're not here to judge nobody. And we're not here to play God. We're not here to do that. You know, we're here to love on each other, lift each other up, keep each other going, point to each other to the truth with all kindness and gentleness, and of course love. You know, this is what we're reading about, and this is what we're called to do. And amongst each other, you know, we're supposed to gather. Unfortunately, I wish I had a great big place where I could have everybody over all the time. I do. But unfortunately, I just got my little home here. Thankfully, I got a little home, not an apartment. You know, we got to count our blessings. You know, the person in a big home wishes they had a bigger home, but the person in a little home wishes they had their home, and the person in the apartment wishes that they had their home, and then the person that has maybe a bedroom wishes they had the apartment, and the person who's out on the streets or out in a car wishes they had the apartment, and the person that's out on the streets wishes they had the car, and it goes even further than that by. Like you take a look at the person on the street, they're living in a shanty. Well, there's a person in a tent that wishes they had a shanty. And then there's a person that's in a sleeping bag wishing that they had the tent. And then there's a person who's just living in a garbage bag or whatever they could find to cover them, piece of cardboard, whatever. And they're wishing they had that sleeping bag. So you got to count your blessings. You got to be thankful for what you got. I mean, you got food to eat? By golly, that's a blessing. You got a car to drive? By golly, that's a blessing. That's a big blessing that a lot of people don't have. You got a chainsaw to run? Well, boy, you're more blessed than others. And if you got a Pioneer, well, then you're really blessed. This is it. This is it. Right, Kim? And too many times, especially now, you see so much ungratefulness. Like, man, this next generation coming up, they don't realize how good they got it. When we were growing up, we didn't have Google. It's crazy to think, because nowadays everything's Google, Google, Google. We didn't have that. If we wanted to figure something out, we had to go to the library or ask an elder. Get them to teach us, We didn't know how to build a carburetor. We had to take her apart and figure it out ourselves. Or ask our dad or our neighbor or whoever may know. And sometimes they didn't know. So you did have to figure it out yourself. Trial and error. And not everything was easy that way. But you didn't take your teachings for granted. You didn't lose what you learned. I find that a lot of times, even myself, I work as a mechanic at a shop for a log company or a tree company. I still get to run a saw every now and again. Don't worry, guys. But if sometimes working on a truck or a saw, and I might not remember or know something, I'll Google it up, and then the next time I run into it, it's like, oh yeah, I did that before, but I Googled it up, so I don't remember exactly. Maybe after a few times you do it, you get her. But back in the day, maybe it's because I was younger, my mind was a lot more absorbent. But it could also be the fact that back in the day, before you had Google, and you had to do it hands-on and figure it out, you retained that information. So when it was harder, it ended up becoming easier to do the second time because you learned. And that's a lot like what trials are all about too, right? Like, they're hard, but they burn off all the crap that shouldn't be there. So, why would you go through fire? Well, fire burns all the crap. It gets all out of there. And what's left is pure. Ash, no bacteria, no nothing. Pure, clean. So it burns off all the junk and gets you into that pure, clean. Same with doing things the hard way sometimes is the better situation for you in the long run. But yeah, the blessings thing, like, a lot of what we have now is a huge blessing. You think back a little over 100 years ago, not even, like just 100 years ago, in 1925, we didn't have climate control for the most part. There was oil furnaces and stuff come through, and they had fireplaces, which best way to heat a place. But all the same, they didn't have central air. A lot of the places didn't have ducting. They had boilers, little hot radiators along the wall. The boiler would pump hot water through the radiators, and it wasn't necessarily the same like blown air that we have now. And even with a wood fireplace, as wonderful it is, but if you got a bigger place, you need the ducting. It's like the old place I had, we had that wood burning furnace, and that would pump the heat through the building. So that is a big change from what was going on 100 years ago, or over 100 years ago, even before before the boilers. Living like in the 18th century, I think, living in a cabin that wasn't airtight. You had a breeze, it wasn't watertight, you had a leak, you lived all together with your family, you're smelling what they were digesting, if you catch what I'm saying. But and it's funny enough that in that time, people got along better. The family stayed together. Whereas now, we live so darn comfortable. Everybody's at each other's throats. Everybody's all me, 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 me. All this individualism. There's no real sense of family or community like there used to be. It's still, don't get me wrong, still out there to a degree. It's not quite the same as it were. As you look into them old 18th century families, they didn't have to go and work at Walmart when they turned 16. No, they worked on the farm from the time they was 12, the time they could walk. They worked on the family business, whatever that was. And they loved one another, worked with another. I'm sure they had their problems. It's part of being human. But they stuck together. They stuck it out. And what happened? Could blame it on the Industrial Revolution. You could. But part of the product from the Industrial Revolution is all this comfort that we have now. When we get more comfortable, we start focusing on things that are less important. We start focusing on things that cause division. We start losing our firm foundation of what this country, and I know a lot of you is from the States, what your country was founded on, which is the principles in this book. A lot of what's good in our countries comes from this book. All of what's good in our countries. But now our politicians have become our God. Politics seems to be at the forefront of society's vision. Where back, when people got along, families stuck together, it wasn't politics. There was a sense of religion, but there was that true relation. Every home had a Bible. Even my home growing up, we had a big family Bible. Mom and Dad didn't really read it much, but it was there. Thankfully, I got older and I got a great many of them. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. This here, your whole shelf, it's all different translations and stuff. I don't know. I mean, we got all kinds of other fun stuff. And my birthday was the other week, so there's a couple birthday cards. And then I got some more junk over here, you know. It's not junk, it's good reading. Trust me. and the difference is, we start focusing on joy once we get into this mindset, this lifestyle. Whereas the world wants you to focus on pleasure. You know the difference between joy and pleasure? Pleasure is for a moment. Pleasure is gone. Once you've gone through your pleasure, it's nothing more than a memory. Joy sticks. Joy lasts, and it's something that you can tap into at any time. You have a child that brings you joy, that doesn't go away. You help somebody, changes their life, that doesn't go away. You might forget about these things in a moment of sorrow, moment of pain, moment of grief. But if you get reminded or pointed in that direction, by golly, it can pull you right out. That's the power of joy. The power of pleasure, what does that got? So many people, when they're in that moment of sorrow, pain, grief, they reach for pleasure, whether it be a bottle, strip club, whatever the case. What generally happens to those people? You know what generally happens. Not good. But if they reach for joy, they reach for truth instead of a lie, what happens to those people? And I bet you know darn well as well. So maybe that's the message we leave off today. Focus on joy, not on pleasure. Pleasure's got its place. You have a good meal. Your wife cooks you something good. Some good Jamaican cooking. Highly recommend. You're okay there. That's fine. Even if you're to have that glass of wine. Christmas dinner, whatever. Cool. But don't let it become your idol. Don't let it become your focus. Don't reach for that. Let it come naturally. Reach for joy. Seek joy. Seek truth. Reach for truth. Don't reach for a lie. Don't reach for a false promise. Seen it too many times. Don't let that be you. And if somehow anything I've said today has reached you, inspired you, feel free to reach out. You can reach out here in the comments or send me an email. It's the same one as it's always been, BUTLEROutdoorsCanada@gmail.com. I'd be glad to chat with you. And if you're not too far away, we can throw up a phone call and chat. Or if you got the WhatsApp, we can do that too. So wherever you are in the world, don't know if you know how the WhatsApp works, and we can chat. It just works through the interwebs. But just think about it. Have you been reaching for pleasure, or have you been reaching for joy? Have you been reaching for a lie, or have you been reaching for truth? So good to see Angie and Kim. And whoever might be hanging around, thanks for coming in. Whoever tunes in later, thanks for coming in. And again, if anything has touched you, feel free to reach out. And if you're so inspired, don't even reach out to me. Just reach out to him. He's always listening. And he always answers the call, whereas I might not get it. Till next time, take her easy. Be safe. Let's hope this here closes like it used to once did.